larger time when it comes to paying tax abatement, and that it goes down additionally because of all the issues that we received with redlining and the additional interest that banks were requiring on Black home ownership. Finally, is gun violence. Gun violence is everywhere in Cincinnati, and as we need to go at them together with citywide initiatives to ensure that the people feel safe to actually report the crimes. And that is going to be like, how do we build into the community? How do we invest in every neighborhood, building up our businesses, making sure they feel safe to operate, but also have money and the function they need to continuously grow throughout the city is going to be extremely important as we move forth in this next year.
Thank you very much. Now, co-moderator Jenny Brown will proceed.
Thank you. And my question will go to Council Member Linda Curry. And the question is, what will you do and how will you maintain your integrity when developers or others present opportunities to influence your vote as a council member?
Well, I've been on council for a year, and no one has influenced my vote except listening to the people of the neighborhood that development is going into. I listen to the council and residents because I want any development going to a place where people don't want it. I think it's important to get community engagement. In terms of this whole thing about option, what we really need is transparency. So developers need to present their ideas to community councils and to city council in the open, out at community council meetings. This also happens at planning commission meetings, which oftentimes we can't attend. And so there needs to be a way that developers come and present their ideas. And I really want to say early on, because by the time communities hear about these developments, they're way down the road in terms of planning, and often communities do not have the chance to actually put input into them. There's no need for developers to have private meetings with council people. Really, there's just no point in that. We're not developers. That's not our area, and so there's nothing I can really offer there. I need to have it. We all need to have it out in the open. There's no need to have a private side meeting with us about it. And so transparency is really the key. Let's keep it out in the open. I can tell you, I've voted for some developments and against others. When they don't meet criteria, when the community councils are against them, when they're not bringing benefits to the community, often when they don't include affordable housing, my answer is no, and I ask the same questions out in the open in council meetings.
Yeah. I need you to call time.
And Ms. Cook, I'm going to ask you the same question. I'm going to say it again. What will you do and how will you maintain your integrity when developers or others present opportunity to your vote as a council member?
So I think the first thing we need to do is create more policies that actually hold developers accountable to the system in Cincinnati, right? And so the first effective thing is going to be making sure that every developer required to have affordable housing units, but also in that is right now we have a moderate income level and low income level. So we're looking at making sure these are housing for the rate for Cincinnati. Secondly is having more consistent open meetings with the public. And then we need to create a internal portal that actually lists all of the units that are available. The affordable housing units, the homeowner equity developments, and then the opportunities. Because what right now is we don't know all the new developments that are going up, how much that is affecting Cincinnati right now. We know that we need more affordable housing, but with the COVID-19, a lot of more people were affected. And so essentially, if Cincinnati was to do what other cities have done, is to operate in a manner which puts the citizens first, they would have more accessibility to determine where and when the need is accessible to the community. And that is what we need to do. We need to ensure that Cincinnatians are also projected and that they are supported. And that has to come through the data, that has to come through an internal portal for us, and that has to come through an external source for the community. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. The next question is going to go to Ms. Cook again. That question is, how will you represent all neighborhoods in Cincinnati?
That's a great question. As I have worked all throughout Cincinnati doing mental health, affordable housing, youth services, I think it's about ensuring that we need to create a policy that city council is actually divided, that we are required to go to listen to city council meetings. Right now, we are not required to do that. You can do it optional. And then secondly is holding more public hearings to listen to the city of Cincinnati. We have done this recently as the election is coming up. But within the next 2 years, we need to ensure that everybody's voice is heard. It is time that we don't always live in that 9-to-5 life, because most of the people that we want to get back to work are working 9 to 5. So how are we ensuring that their voices are being heard, that their communities are getting gathered without having public hearings? It will be every month we will be required to host 3 other public hearings throughout Cincinnati. And that by our 2-year term, we hit every neighborhood in Cincinnati. Also, throughout those neighborhoods will be additional things that I'm passionate about, which will be affordable housing, public safety, youth, and then making sure that people feel safe when it comes to gun violence, the crimes when it comes to cars. There's been a lot of issues with car accidents recently. And so I just want to make sure that people are heard. And the only way we can do that is having those meetings at a timely manner for them.
Thank you. Mrs. Kearney, how will you represent all neighborhoods of Cincinnati?
You're muted.
I'm sorry, thank you.
That's okay.
I love this question because I'm actually chair of City Council's Neighborhoods Committee. And so making sure that neighborhoods are engaged and have a voice, has always been really important to me. So when I first started City Council last year, I went